Hello. So I look like this because my friend and I just walked home from the movies in the rain, because of course we did. So I've been feeling emotional today because earlier in the day I listened to some Hannah Montana songs, and that was a show that was pretty popular when I was in like middle school, and I really liked that show. And I was listening to the songs and I started crying, partially because I'm pregnant and also just because I was like remembering all of those times where I would watch that show and I would talk to my friends and ask if they'd seen the most recent episode, and then we would like argue over how good or bad it was and the plot line, and that was like my biggest issue, was arguing over did Emily Osment really sing that song with my best friend, you know? And then I went and just saw the movie 8th Grade, and I remembered that it wasn't just that, you know? We always look back on certain times in our life and we kind of forget how it actually was, whether we make it seem so much better than it really was or so much worse. We don't truly remember how things actually happened because our feelings get in the way and our emotions surrounding that time or that event or that situation, and our emotions cloud it and make it seem super amped up or super shitty. I also want to add here, because it's going to come up later in the video, that we view the future in a very similar way. We don't view it how it's actually going to happen. We view it as this awesome thing that nothing is going to go wrong and I'm going to accomplish this by this age, or I'm going to do this by the time I graduate, and all of these things that we have dreams and goals about. We don't view anything getting in our way because we can't even imagine that, because the future, everything's going to be better, everything's going to be fine, and I'm going to be great. But real life happens and stuff does get in the way. And I wish that I could just be transported back to middle school for like a week so I can really remember how it feels. There was a guy, the movie brought these feelings up for me. Like, okay, I was not if you've seen the movie, you know that she has a YouTube channel and it's just so cringy and awful, and that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. But I was not liked at all in school, because for a lot of reasons. I was always really loud, I was always super like out there and wild, and I would like ask boys out on dates in 2nd grade, and of course we never went anywhere and they never said yes, but like that was super weird because other girls didn't do that. Nobody else did that when we were that young, but I was just like super loud and fun, and I thought I was fun, everybody else thought I was annoying. And then middle school came around and I started lying a lot because I just wanted to make myself seem more interesting. And so then my friends that I did have kind of stopped liking me because I would lie all the time. And that was shitty. And nobody really liked me. A lot of people thought that I was like a stalker because I would find a boy that I liked and memorize his phone number and learn his middle name and that kind of thing. And then 6th grade happened and I got my first boyfriend, and he was awesome. Like, his name was Shane, and it was so cool because when he started dating me, you know, 6th grade dating, when he started dating me, everybody was like, oh, well, she's not that bad. Like, she's got a boyfriend, so like, you know, somebody must like her. She must not be that terrible. Which was great, but then he broke up with me, and my best friend at the time, who I actually went to see this movie with, she was like way hotter than me. Way hotter than me at the time, and like so much cooler. And so all the boys liked her, and then I was single, and I just felt so shitty. like, I keep saying the word shitty because that's just how I felt all the time. And, hold on. Yeah, that's better. That's better for you guys. But, yeah, like, I went from, okay, she's not that bad, to she's just that pretty girl's ugly friend. And yeah, middle school just kind of was like that all the time, and then high school started, and my friends that I did have started doing like things that I didn't like. I wasn't into drugs or alcohol or anything like that, rock music. I didn't like any of that stuff, and they did, and so I was like, no, fuck, like, I don't have any friends now. And so for a lot of years, I just wasn't liked. And something that the movie brought up in my brain was there was this boy named Jess. And he was like kind of a bad boy, I guess, but he was popular. Like, he hung out with all the popular kids. And we were in middle school, probably in 8th grade, and we started writing each other notes during reading. And then soon we would like sit next to each other during reading and like talk and whatever. But he always made it super low key because he was embarrassed that he was talking to me. So if ever I would talk too loud or like giggle or whatever, he would be like, stop, shut up. And once he gave me his number, so I called his number, his mom answered, and gave him the phone. We ended up talking for like 2 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, he really likes me, and he's cool. He's like a cool guy, and I'm talking to a cool guy. But then in school, he was like, don't ever tell anybody that we talked on the phone. There was a guy named Andy, and also in 8th grade, we were like talking, I don't know how to describe it, because I think talking means something different to like younger people, but we were talking and we always got along really well when nobody else was around. But then the second his friends would come around, he would change. And I remember once we were like hanging out in the locker area, and he gave me his really cool like aviator sunglasses to wear, and I was wearing them and taking selfies and stuff. And then his friends started walking up, and he was like, give me my glasses back, hurry, give me my glasses back. And I was like, what? And he was like, give me my glasses back. Because he was embarrassed that he was having fun with me and that he let me wear his glasses. Like, that's so shitty. And people are so mean. And I know that a lot of people who would get like severely bullied would probably watch this video and be like, bitch, you just spent almost 10 minutes talking about how boys didn't like you. But it's not, it's stuff that I'm never gonna forget. And it's stuff that hurts me. Like, it hurt at the time, and now looking back, my heart hurts for past me, for being so hurt, you know? And there's a part in the movie, I'm not gonna give out any spoilers or anything, but there is a part in the movie where she, like, listens to a tape that she made herself from 6th grade, from the first day of middle school, and she listens to it, and the girl's like, do you have a boyfriend? Is he nice? And you're the coolest girl in the world, and I'm so excited to be you. And I remember feeling that way and writing letters to myself and thinking that I was gonna be so cool and things were gonna be so different and I was gonna be popular. And there's a moment where she's like pacing in her bedroom and like thinking of things to say, and she's like, oh, what's your name again? Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. And I used to do that. I used to stand in front of my mirror and be like, what's your name again? Like practicing for how cool I was gonna sound, when over the summer I would come back and not even remember anybody's names because I just had that fabulous of a summer where I just forgot about all of you peasants back at school and, oh, what's your name again? You know? And it's just sad because kids are mean and there's nothing that you can do about it. And she's like really shitty to her dad throughout the entire movie, which also made me cringe because I was super shitty to my dad and to my mom. When they're really just trying their best. And they see that you're going through a tough time and they want to help, but they don't know how, and they don't want to help too much. They don't want to interfere. They don't want to embarrass you and push you even further away. They don't know what to do to help you. But they're trying their best, and you're just like, oh my God, go away. You're so embarrassing. Get out of my life. I hate you. Like, and they're your parents. They love you more than anybody could ever love you ever in your life. And they might be really bad at showing it. And this isn't every parent. Obviously, there are some parents who are just like really awful and whatever. But most of the time, your parents just love you. And then you treat them like garbage because they're embarrassing and they're old and they don't understand. And really, I don't think parents do understand most of the time because they're from a different generation. They don't get it. Everything is different. Like for them, for my parents anyway, if they had assholes at school, okay, they were assholes at school and then they went home. We didn't have that luxury, you know? We had assholes at school and then they were assholes on MySpace too. And kids now, with shit like this, they have assholes all day long. All night long, all the time. Ah, it's frustrating. It's hard. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be raising a baby. I've got one in my stomach right now. And I'm like, what's the world gonna be like when they're in middle school? What are the kids gonna say to them? I remember feeling like the girl in the movie did, where it's just like so devastated at who you've become and disappointed because you thought that you would achieve all of these things and you thought, sorry, my foot's falling asleep. You thought that by the time you were 13 or 15 or whatever that you would have shit figured out. And you would have a cool boyfriend and like you would look totally different and you'd know how to do your makeup and all of your friends would be super awesome. And some people did have childhoods like that. I'm sure. But I certainly didn't. Oh, it's hard. But like all of those awful things that I went through, like the people that were mean to me and the people that were embarrassed of me, I get why. Like, they're just trying to have the best life that they can, you know, and they don't want to be ridiculed by their friends or have their friends think that they're not cool because they were talking to me. Like, I get it. I get it. It's not nice and it's not okay, but I understand. It's not something I think I've ever done, but I get why somebody would. I thought that by the time I had graduated high school, I would have already sold 2 books to publishers and that I would be rolling in dough. I thought that I would never have to have a real job because I would always work for myself being a writer. I thought that by the time I was 23, I would be married. By the time I was 25, I would have kids. I thought that I would own a house by the time I was 21. Again, because I was loaded from all of my books that I published. And now, I'm 23, I look back on my life, and I'm like, damn, young me would have been so disappointed. Right? Young me would have been like, what the fuck happened? Because life is different than you think it's going to be. And honestly, I think that my life is pretty good. Like, I've got some friends who rock. And we've been through everything together. They're people who I know that I can call and they're going to be there. I lost a lot of my friends 2 years ago because I went through a breakup and then lost all those friends because of choices that I had made. And I was like, damn, because I'd been friends with them for like 5 years and I really thought that they were like my ride or dies. And I remember being like, okay, so I finally got this nice group of friends and I just lost it. Now I have no one. Well, I didn't have no one because the 2 best friends that I have always been there. And they're always going to be there. And no, I don't have like the clique of girls that I always wanted to have, you know, where we meet for brunch and we go on trips to the Bahamas with the girls. I don't have that. But I do have something really special. And no, I'm not married. And I don't own a house. I could have been married by now. I'm not. Would middle school me believe that I chose that? Middle school me would be ashamed that I've had several jobs, that I work in a restaurant. She would be like, ugh, but you were never supposed to have a job. You were supposed to be a really famous author like Stephen King. And I'm not. But that's okay. I think middle school me would be more sad that I stopped writing altogether. These 2 girls that I babysit, they're 10 and 11. And they just found out that I'm pregnant. And they're like, oh my gosh, but you're not even married. And I was like, I know you guys, but I am 23. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right, you are old. They always forget how old I am. And I had to explain to them, because they were like, well, are you gonna get married? And I had to explain to them that I couldn't because of like insurance and money and adult things, and it felt so sad to me that I had to explain that marriage isn't always just about love, you know? Sometimes marriage is about taxes and wills and rights and insurance. It's not just like, I found this person, I love them, and now we're gonna get married, you know? But they were so excited that I was having a baby, even though I wasn't married. They were so excited, and that's something I've always wanted to be a mom. I've always wanted to be a mom. So that's something I know I would be like, fuck yeah. I look around at my life every day and I'm like, this isn't so bad. You know? There are things that could be so much worse. And so I look around and I'm grateful. And I'm like, wow, you're doing okay, you know? And you're really making the best life that you can for yourself. And I believe in being happy and at peace with who you are and being confident in yourself. And these days, I don't give a shit if people like me or not. And maybe that's because I've spent most of my life having people not like me. So eventually I just kind of decided that I think I'm pretty fucking cool. I think I'm the shit. And if other people don't, they're wrong, first of all. But it really doesn't matter. You know? I don't care if people judge me about my job or my passions. I don't care if people judge me because I don't have a huge group of friends. I don't care if people judge me for who my life partner is or what kind of dog I have or what I have or have not accomplished to them. I don't care what people think about me having a baby or me making YouTube videos or me renting this house. I don't care what people think about what I'm going to name my baby or how much I love Harry Potter. Like, I don't care if people think that I'm nerdy or loud or crazy or anything. Because I think I'm awesome. And it's taken me so long to get to the point where I feel like I'm awesome. Because I've spent so much of my life telling myself that I was awful and having other people tell me worse things. Having men manipulate me and hurt me when I was just a kid. I've spent so much of my life being embarrassing, and even my best friend that I was out with tonight, when we were in middle school, we had a falling out, and she got a phone for the first time, a flip phone, so super cool, and I didn't find out about it for weeks because she didn't want me to know, because she didn't want to give me my number or her number. And that really hurt me at the time, but kids are mean. They just are, for no reason. They're just mean. And some of those friends, we make it through the meanness. Obviously, me and Rochelle, still friends. But there are other friends that you just have to let go. Friends. And there have been years where Rochelle and I specifically didn't talk very much. because we just had to separate from each other. There are days when my boyfriend and I are not friends. And we just straight up like have to ignore each other because for some reason that day we both just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Sometimes my friend Spencer will make a bad joke that just rubs me the wrong way. And again, I'll just be like, we are not friends right now. And you have to take breaks from people. I think that the biggest person you have to take breaks from sometimes is yourself, which is really hard to do considering you can't really separate from yourself, because you are yourself. But if you ever find yourself just shitting on yourself, not literally, but like metaphorically, and you just find yourself looking in the mirror and saying, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, I make the worst decisions, nobody likes me, nobody should like me, why would they? I'm gonna be alone forever, I don't deserve this guy, blah blah blah, all that shit. If you ever start really getting in your own head like that, realize it and take a break. Just take a break. Somehow, whatever way you have to. Whether that means going for a swim or a walk or taking a fucking nap or reading a book or petting a dog. Writing in your journal. Really baking cookies, anything. Anything to get out of your own head like that. Because it's negative and it's nasty and it's false. It's not real. What's real is the stuff that really makes your heart sing. Those moments where you're just laying on your back with the sun hitting your face and you're like, I'm happy. That's the real stuff. The rest of it is just anxiety, at least for me. Yeah, and I'm not ashamed of any part of me anymore. I'm happy about all the parts of me. Even my anxiety and my depression and my really shitty choices that I've made in my past. I've grown to love everything that I did and every part of who I was my whole life. Even though it's hard to remember sometimes all of those things that I've done or that other people have done to me, I'm proud of it because I think that I'm pretty cool. And I know I wouldn't be exactly the same if all of that stuff hadn't happened. I wouldn't have learned all of the things that I've learned. And I'm still learning. And I'm still making mistakes. And I'm not the best friend. And I'm not the best girlfriend. And I'm really not going to be the best mom. I'm not the best writer. I'm not the best waitress. But I am pretty cool. You know? And I think that even if middle school me, if 8th grade me did see me right now, even though I was nothing like what she anticipated or what she hoped that I would be, I hope that she'd be smart enough to realize that not everything is going to happen the way you think it is, and that that's okay, and sometimes it's even better. Because life is still good. I'm still good looking. You know? I'm still funny as hell, obviously. I hope that middle school me would be like, you know what? You're all right. Yeah. That's it.